Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Cooperation. In a claim, you need to specify how the elements interact. For instance, a mission is understood as an operative combination of elements. So you need to explain how the elements in the mission interact with each other. You have to avoid a catalog of elements, which is a mere listing of elements without denoting how they operate with each other. The words describing relationships, here is a list of words. You could use proximate to show something is next to each other, or adjacent to, connected to, adjoining, overlapping. Now these are the words which would specify how one element is connected to another through a relationship. Now there are three forms of cooperation largely. The first one is structural, by which we mean physical and mechanical connection between the elements. Now they could be a static linkage, like by using the words fixed to, screwed to, or connected to. Now, relative positions, you could describe structure, you could describe elements which are structurally linked by their relative positions. For instance, joined above or adjacent to will show that the cooperation is structural between the two elements. Or you could also show something through a connection. Screw connecting the hinge to the door. Now this describes connection, and this is a form of connecting which connects two things, the hinge and to the door, tells us that the kind of cooperation here is structural. The other form of cooperation is functional. Now how each element functions within the operative framework of the invention. Now legs mounted to support the seat. We had earlier seen an engine mounted on the chassis. Now all these are instances which show how the function between two elements is described. Now functional statement, you could also use a functional statement like for instance so that, describing the function, or for, again followed by the description of the function, or in order to. Now these phrases or words are used to describe a function that follows a particular element. The third type of cooperation is cooperation described by the order of steps. Now when you recite the order of steps, it automatically tells a person that that is the order in which the things are related. For instance, if your process involves mixing followed by rinsing and then by drying, the sequence in which you present them will tell them that is the order in which cooperation happens between the elements. Now for this you have to recite things in sequence. You also have to ensure that each element is set apart separately so that it is distinct, each element is distinct. Now for this you can use a colon at the end of a transition or a semicolon at the end of each element.